All right. Good afternoon, family. How are you all at today? How are you all this wonderful sunny Sunday? It's nice and warm here, unexpectedly, but it's a great thing. Near the end of August, so we're getting that dog day heat until it changes. This is Elliott McCants sitting in for Sister Audrey Muhammad again, and I'm glad you're trying to join us. I'd like to see you all. For those of you that have been consistently coming, we do have your book list. Okay. The book list is up and we can share it real quick if we can. Yep, we're gonna there we go. Now we can there's your book list. It's only a few. Now, if I'm here next time, what I'd love to see is those of you who decided to go out, you can see the books here, and purchase something off this list or show me what you have, and let's be able to either have a discussion about it or at least you show me that you're interested in this education. And I think today what we're going to do is look at mental health, right? We've talked about education, we talked about propaganda, we talk about how we're being bombarded with the media propaganda about all of this stuff that's coming up. And let's talk about mental health a little bit. For me, and this may not be for everybody, these are my opinions. Part of um, the thing that helped me deal with all of the stuff that I know that's going on in the world is being able to indulge in some intellectual warfare, so to speak, right? So that I'm able to, this part of our armor is our culture. Part of the issue that we have is we don't know what that culture should look like because we've been told to run away from it. If we hold on to our culture, right? Or if you investigate a culture that comes from Africa, if you know some people that come from the continent, the motherland, then make contact with them. It's easy, right? It's easy. Be humble enough to be able to share that you want to learn and be humble enough to share what you know. Don't be um, arrogant and European and go in, well, I know more than you do. And in some instances, in certain situations, we do know more than they do. We definitely know more than most of them that come over here to this country, but they also know that they come over here with an agenda. So part of the mental health is to not only learn, whether you learn by reading, but also to be able to learn by surrounding yourself or kind of encroaching on someone else's culture, right? Maybe if they come from another country, you encroach on their culture and you ask questions. Because 9 times out of 10, if you come in the right way that you want to learn, because even if you have something to give back in return, and most of the time we do, then they'll accept you as family. Part of what happened should happen then for me is not only do you start to learn about their customs, but you learn about the foods, the drinks, maybe trying to learn some of the language, and definitely wear some of the clothes. That's our cultural armor. Those are the things that help protect our mental health. Because unfortunately, in our communities, and we know this cannot be denied, that we're kind of, real heavy emphasis on kind of, very fractured in our community right now, right? We can see that all over the place. We're super, super fractured in our community because we're not living in a culture. We're living in a community. And what we're doing is emulating something that doesn't want to be bothered with us. Okay. What we're doing is we're emulating a group that doesn't want to be bothered with us. Dr. W.E.B. Du Bois in Soul of Black Folk said, you have to choose. You can choose to be either African or American, but you can't be both. You got to make a choice. Some people say that you can. And we see what happens to those people who make a choice to decide that they're going to choose to be both because something eventually happens to them. Seen that happen on college campuses with professors, had situations that I know of that people didn't think certain things were going to happen to them, and they did because I'm in this particular position here in a place that these people may or may not want me. And then when these things happen, I get upset or I get, it shouldn't have happened to me. Why not? It should have happened to you because you weren't properly armored so that you understood that when you go into these places, these ivory towers, and they're called ivory towers for a reason. If you go into these ivory towers where you're a true small segment of the population there, they're going to make you uncomfortable because they want you to leave. Now, what's your armor to stay? What's your armor to stay? And I've given advice to tell people when you go into those places, because that's where you want to be, you have to make a decision that you're working who you're working for. You're not working for them, you're working for your family. Now, if you just so happen to be able to give some advice to some other people, whether it be information through a book or some discussion that you all can have, that's fine. But you still understand where it is that you're going because it's not our institution. Man, it's not. Change it though? How do we change it? The issue is if we're going to really change it, if we have so-called HBCUs, then you go and work there because you're not going to change what their institutions are. It's not designed to do that. It's designed to continue to create and perpetuate something that they can use and or not use. So at home, which is where it should be your safe space, where you have peace in your home, and there are certain things that you do culturally to make sure that your armor is shiny. That's where you have the discussions and you eat the food and you have the drinks and you wear the clothes because it's not real natural for many people to think it's okay to wear African clothes or cultural clothes somewhere else other than a couple of times a year. It's Kwanzaa, Black History Month, whatever. But if you catch you outside of that, there's a problem. Let it be a problem. But your home should be your safe place. Now, I'm gonna tell y'all again, the book list is up there, so I need y'all to make sure that you you start to grab those books, take pictures of it, whatever.
Oh, that's a good thing because and that's why, and I don't get me wrong, what I'm finna say. I mean, I know you gonna understand it, but this is what I mean when they be telling us why we need to vote. Because we do need more funding for HBCUs. I do feel like we should be attending more because you see the things that's going on. Mm-hmm. It's like it's like they be want to brush it up under the rug, like how these Black students really be getting treated in these predominantly Caucasian schools.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's like you hear the stories, and then sometimes I'll be like, damn, why would we constantly go there when we know how we getting mistreated?
Because what the idea is, in order to get you out of this situation where you're poor, right? Shannon Sharp was one of the few people that in Walter Payton, he went to Jackson State. Shannon Sharp went to Savannah State, and I don't think he was really highly recruited, but he went to Savannah State and became like one of the better receivers there. And so he was able to get in the pros, right? But most of the time, that's not the case. What it ends up happening is they tell our so-called underprivileged young men and young women that I can offer you these things over here,
right,
and get you and your family out of there. So what happens is That sounds like a deal to me.
Right.
So I'm going to take that deal because that means I can get my family out of this situation. And so that's what happens.
Mhm.
You know, it's propaganda, but at the same time, go to the HBCU first and try and see what happens there. But who gets it? Well, how do they get that much exposure? They didn't. They don't. They didn't get that much exposure again until recently
Right.
with Deion Sanders. Right.
And look how he got treated.
Yeah. Well, he not only did he get treated horribly, but then now they're calling him a sellout because he went to Colorado.
But when he was fighting, but he brought revenue, and to me it was like the other coaches. It's the same mentality that we have. Like we be jealous because it's like Deion was brought the attention. Deion had the connections to the NFL. It might not have been the best deal, but y'all was getting something.
Something.
You
Right.
know what I'm saying? But you need more help, and this should be showing us as a race of people. Look how we getting did. Look how far as TV contracts. 'Cause everything is about money in this.
It's
time.
all about in this land. It's all about money.
Right.
It's got nothing else to do with anything else.
Right.
Even when we talk about racism and whatever, it's about money. At the end of the day, the color is green.
Right.
The color is green.
Right.
And if they can gather more green than you, then that's where the issue is.
Right. And that's what I think. Like with us, as far as our race, we need to be worrying about. Like, don't get me wrong, that was a beautiful thing. Okay, they raised $80 million off a phone call for Kamala Harris.
Right. In 24 hours.
Cool, but where is that to raise it up? Why are we not doing that? And it was the Divine Nine. Why are we not doing that for all the black colleges? Now, like I said, they want her to get in. We all gonna vote for her to get in. But now let's start putting that pressure where the black colleges can get the right funding. Because it shouldn't be like what even though, don't get it wrong, because I was looking into it, a lot of these presidents of these universities be doing a lot of missed money management. That hurts to them. But see, we got to start putting people in that's going to do right and not it's just a money grab. Because that's what it's saying. Like for us, it's like it's just money grabs when our universities are hurting.
Right. But you fix that by sending your kids to those schools.
Yeah.
So, like even a lot of the young people that I know from the school that I used to teach at, well, in the high school, they Ferris and that's good.
Right.
But at what point did any of those colleges offer them anything to come there?
Right.
And then you got to pay out of state fees and this. They can't make it make sense.
Right.
You need me to be there. I want to be there, but
Right.
you're not making it so that the accommodations make sense.
Right.
So what do students do? They pick up the best thing that they possibly can and can afford.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You're right about that. Good evening, Drulina, Cicero, Wanda Smith, Peace, Sister Taliba, Asaya Quill, and Lasanya Larry. And the brother we did, I put the list back up, but I also put it back up that the book as I'm gonna call him, the professor, then dropped off for us. So y'all get that list.
Y'all better get that list. Don't play around with me because I'm gonna be fussing about it every time I'm here.
Right, the professor, 18 and got a professor now while they playing. But no, but that because it's like when I'm seeing how it's going in motion, that's why a lot of these things, like these abandoned schools that's in Flint, we really can fix this problem.
Listen, it's a simple fix. It's a real simple fix.
Yes, sir.
Number one, most of the and I was just talking with somebody about this yesterday. You have charter schools here, and they're offering nothing different. That's one. Yes, Number two, you have enough money through the schools in order to make sure that students get the proper education that they need and the support. No more, they don't need charter schools. What are they doing any different? The only thing they did was take a piece of the pie. That's all that they did. That's all that they did was they went to the state and probably other states, said, we want a piece of the pie. We offer something different. No, they don't. No, they don't. So business-wise, what do you offer students? And I'm not just talking about athletics. What do you offer students that are going to make them say, okay, you know what, I want to be a Flint. Man, we were very prideful to say we went to Flint Central or Flint Northwestern or Flint Northern or Flint Southwestern. You know, that was prideful for us. You know, I know I'm gonna have some people out there that's gonna fuss at me because I said Central first. That's the school I graduated from.
Right.
You know, period. But it was prideful to graduate with 586 other people at this one time. Not all four schools, but all at one time. Owned by now. Absolutely, you're absolutely correct. They're owned big, but they're owned by those entities in order to take money from. They're not providing a better education.
That's
Yeah,
what's sad.
yeah, they're not providing a better education. Only thing they're there for is to make a profit. Same thing.
Right.
And who do we send our school? We send our students there. It's no different than sending them to a university.
Right.
We send them over to the school because it promises something better. But what are we doing when they come home to make sure that that whatever the education is, it's supposed to do what it's supposed to do? Nothing. Or when you come home, you can go ahead on and figure it out your own self. No, you can't do that. But we do it all the time.
And why are we continuously doing the same thing?
Because we trust something else other than ourselves. We've been told that we bought the idea that somebody else's water is colder than ours. When we started education, okay, even on the west side of Africa, as even being Muslim schools, University of Timbuktu, University of Sankore. Going back to the east, the Temple of Waset. They call it Luxor. The Temple of Waset. It was a school. These were schools. We started the schools. Mystery schools. I think one of the books I put up there is by George G.M. James, Stolen Legacy. Get the book and read it. It's up there.
It will be back up. The last 5 minutes of the show, we're going to put it back up there, family.
So I take pictures and I want to make sure that y'all better show me the next time I'm here. Send pictures of the stuff that you got because that's important. This is our armor. So when we talk about, I'm having a bad mental health day, go read a book. Go read a book.
No, we should. That's why I think once we can get back to this, then we'll stop. Like you say, we really just it's an easily fix like that. Well, we can stop the black on black crime.
All of it.
Stop drugs.
All of that stuff stop. Because what if you understand your armor, if you understand and carry your armor, whether you eat the foods, trying to learn the language, and it doesn't make you subservient or submissive to another group. It's just, I want to learn. Well, we don't want to learn anything. We just want it to be hand fed and given to us. Can you please take the spoon out of the cup and put the Jello in my mouth? No. Make your own Jello. Learn. Because the crazy part is much people are talking about doing a DNA analysis and all that other stuff, ancestry, African ancestry, which is run by a sister, African ancestry, and you learn then why do it if you're not going to follow through with it? And it's not that we're not giving you bases of knowledge now, because you got at least 20 books that I put up there. I put more, but you got at least 20 books that you can start with.
Right.
About traditional public charter and even private public depends on those individual school communities. That's true, but absolutely would understand this. The whole point of the educational system is to inculcate and indoctrinate to an idea. It's not about your freedom, because there's a saying that I think, I want to say Dr. John Henry Clark come up with, or maybe one of those brothers back in the 70s or 80s, is the oppressor is never going to give you the education to overthrow. What am I going to give you that for? I'm going to give you the education to take over? I'm not doing that. Oh, actually, it was Paulo Freire from Brazil, and I mentioned him before, who talked about If you're going to take education, education has to be used to improve society. So what problems are we solving when we're talking about education? It's okay for you to learn how to do math better, but how are you doing math better going to help you be able to solve a mechanical problem that you may have at home? Or mathematical problem that it may be involving some plumbing, which is mechanical.
Right.
So now you learn how to do fractions, and you can measure now with a tool in order to make sure that your measurements are better than they were before than just trying to eyeball.
But see, that's what we got to get back to. Is like we can do it. We be fighting. It's saying like in the black community, we fighting over pettiness.
Yeah.
To me, and just my humble opinion, it's like we fighting like right now with this election. Just what I'm feeling like. How you seeing people running for the city council and this and that. We fighting for people who we praying that'll do right for us.
No,
we gotta, instead of us just like, listen, we got these abandoned schools. If you know these kids is graduating with a 3rd grade reading level, why not get one of these schools? Why city council won't get with some of these people who willing that want to do right, not just getting some money they putting in their pocket, helping themselves. Why not open one of these centers in one of these wards? You got 9 of them, and ain't like you got all that many schools. Why not open one of these schools up? And I'm willing to bet you will get some teachers that will come in there that will take, from the community that will come and take their time
to
work with these students so they can get up to speed.
Absolutely. But you don't want to do that because if that happens, and it's not just the council, it's the board as well, right? So if that happens, then what you do is you have a model that challenges what you do. Right. But it doesn't challenge you, it enhances you. Right. Because you're the one that says it's okay, we're going to give 6, 7 people that have this idea, this plan, this school. It's yours. Do what you want to do with it. Now, wait a minute. What do you mean to tell me you're helping our students? So now what happens is parents go running to the school with their kids. I mean, but that's not the point. The point of the education takes place at home.
Right.
So the issue again is at what point in time, yes, the students come and spend 8 hours with us. We get it. And I saw this quote somebody sent me that when a student gets home, I want them to have relaxed time and playtime because they've been gone all day. Your relaxed time and playtime is making sure they get the lesson for the day, not let them go play around and you don't want to be bothered because you've been at work all day. Don't nobody care nothing about you been at work. We've been at work all day too. So you still have to make sure that what lesson that they received for the day that they get. Not, you can go in there and play on your game. I know you're tired. Who cares? Right. Play on the weekends. That's what weekends are for. Right. We don't want to do that anymore. We just want to say once they come home at 3:30, 4 o'clock, that you can go do that and leave me alone because I'm tired.
But to me, it's like the miseducation of the Negro.
Absolutely.
That's what it really is. We really got to be re-educated.
Yeah. Because even Dr. Carter G. Woodson says in his book, Miseducation of the Negro, that if you cut a hole in the back of a house, the Negro will come and put a door up for you. That's really, really insightful. Wait, you cut the hole out and then somebody come and put a door up to close the hole up instead of coming through the door.
It is, and you can just see it's like when they ask them where's like how you hear about the Heritage Foundation that this go to where they got this Project 2025. Where's our foundations at? I think tanks at for the black community.
Those are small groups of people who sit at the McDonald's or sit at the barbershop and do all of this talking amongst themselves. Yeah. But yet we can't. It's not that it's not available, but it's about like how are we going to get this operation moving in order to get the liberation that people are talking about. Who want? They don't.
I mean, but where we got that at, like each, because if you look at the Black Panthers, like it was like they spread it. Each person, like Fred Hampton was in Chicago.
Chicago, right.
You know, Hugh Newton was in the Bay Area,
Yep. Oakland, right.
You know what I'm saying?
There was even a group here.
Yeah, you have splinters. Right. Like, where's our think tanks at where we can put something together in the community?
We don't have. We have them at the barber shop. We have them at the bar where people go in the evening. We have them at. Sometimes there used to be a group of older brothers that I know, and hopefully they're still around and alive, that would sit over there in McDonald's early in the morning over on Dordt Highway and have and you listen to these fabulous conversations.
Yeah, but see, we missing that. See, I think what Obama being president really set us way more back than, like, even with this, I think with the Kamala, don't get me wrong, I'm going to vote for her. I'm thinking that we're getting in, but like, damn this, you just get in. It's time to push some agenda. I get it, because we always be saying, well, they ain't got this and that. Well, put it on the flow. That's what I liked about Eric Mays. Let's put it on the flow. Even though I ain't got these votes, I'm going to put it on the flow to show y'all who against helping y'all. Because that's all you can. That's all John Conyers was asking when he said HR 40. Let's just put it up, vote it up and down. But you know why they didn't want to do it? Because you was going to have to tell who really want to keep the propaganda going.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But sometimes you have to do, when we see our own blocking, you know what I'm saying? It's like, they don't know. Let's go do that. That's like, well, don't get me wrong. I watched it at a convention. But my thing is, like Trump, he wanted both. I did this for the HBCU. Why we can't get in when Kamala get in? She gonna say what she gonna. Now let's help fund the HBCU. Let's don't keep hearing this what we hearing underfunding, because if Dion wasn't there, we wouldn't even be. It'll be folklore about how bad underfunded the HBCU was. Right. You know what I'm saying? It'll be. His was a gift and a curse.
Right. I agree.
You know what I'm saying? It was a gift and a curse, because look how they did Ed Reed. Right. Because he got out there and at Beckham down there, and then you see how the president was. Then you found out how they been playing games, and it's like, when do y'all, like, because we get called out, y'all was ashamed to show what was going on. So where's our leadership? Even with the talent,
that's the issue. That's the issue. Is we have been taught that we have to have leaders instead of institutions. See, the presidency is an institution.
Right.
University of Michigan institution.
Yes, sir.
Head of a church is a leader. Principal, leader.
Right.
Different idea. The office of the presidency already has an agenda that you're going to follow.
Gotta follow.
If you don't, I'll let you later sign for your love.
Yeah.
Okay. Right? You either follow it or we got something that you'll be tasting.
Yeah, no, if you go look how Trump is talking, and it goes back to what you said, this thing is built on money.
Yeah, it's all about money.
Because I watched, Robert Kennedy, he went over there, he giving Trump his endorsement.
Now, right. And at one time, you and your family were.
Yeah, but you see how Trump talking now? He one of them politicians that'll move this way because he want to get in. We're going to open up the investigation on the killing of John F. K. Kennedy. And who going to lead it? Robert F. Kennedy. We finna go at the FDA. All the stuff. He was talking, even though these maggots, I want people to understand, these not your regular Republicans. The maggots that he got, when he talking about we're going to go after the food industry, you talking at industries who Trump talking about going at, that all sound good. But when you going at the deep state, you know who else tried that and what happened? Kennedy.
Oh, well.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, but anyway.
It's just showing you the games people are playing.
And the thing is the level of ignorance that people have out here as voters, as an unknowing public, right? Because we get caught up in the emotion of the moment instead of sitting there looking at the facts of things, right? So again, going back to saying, okay, well, if I read this particular book and these show me that these are particular patterns of a group of people or how this particular party operates or how that particular party operates, because at one time, going back to talking about voting, because Lincoln was a Republican, African people in America voted Republican only because of that. Because we were ignorant to the fact that he said, hey, I would, if I didn't, this one group is superior, the other group's inferior. And if it wasn't for the saving the union, I could care less.
Nobody don't want to. That's like the keep thing they keep missing. He only freed the slaves. If you go read some of Lincoln's writing, go look at who he was beefing really with.
Right.
And then you will understand he was trying to preserve, the whole thing was to preserve the union.
Yeah. Yeah. He wasn't really trying to have the war happen.
Yeah.
The person who forced that issue to happen was John Brown and Harper's Ferry in 1859. He was the one going around the country with other people that he had freed, talking about if you all don't do something, because and he was a reverend too, just like Nat Turner.
Right.
John Brown, right? They executed him, his sons, the people that attacked Harper's Ferry, all because he was trying to arm African people in a slave revolt, in a major slave revolt. And he even talked to Lincoln, if I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong. He even talked to Lincoln, or at least sent a letter saying, if you don't get rid of this situation, it's going to cause a war. A year later, a war happened. Less than a year later, a war.
Damn.
John Brown was a major influencer in what happened with the Civil War, with his attack with Harper's Ferry. Yeah. So again, this is knowledge that helps us understand what situations are, right? Being able to look at and critically analyze the situation, right? Now, this is probably going to be very unpopular, but you tell me, I'm going to take my glasses off for this. Where in the world a situation comes up and in 24 hours, $80 million is raised, but you can't raise $80 million for a city that could use it anywhere. Anywhere. Not in one day. One day. You get 80 million, 24-hour period. Phones ringing off the charts. And people sending donations in to make $80 million.
And that's the point that I'm making. But yeah, Flint, right now, people are studying being poisoned. You got to bathe in poison. And it's like, you mean to tell me you can have the governor can go on the Breakfast Club and don't nobody, like the late Eric Mays would say, check everybody. You can have people from here, then we wonder why we have so many problems with government. Then we see why we stagnated 10 years later.
And you see the reason why people don't trust the process, because the process is not for us to trust.
Right. 10 years, because come April is a pump. We'll be here before you know it, 25. Right. So what we're going to be doing? Having another water anniversary?
Might as well. We celebrate everything else, so we might as well have water anniversary.
So next year it'll be 11 years. Right. Then what they going to say? The pipe still, and this is the biggest trick. They say, we got to fix the lead line. If you ain't fixed all the infrastructure, meaning from the water plant back to the pipes that's leading to all the houses, if you not fixing them, you hear down in Detroit where we getting behind this, you hear in other places that's did this before they run into this problem. But yet in Flint, the problem ain't done and we going on. We finna be at 11 years.
That's because how many people matter?
Yeah.
How many people matter?
Well.
So therefore, right, there's a man, and I don't know if it's still here, and I haven't seen it, where he put this basically as a dehumidifier on Saginaw Street. Right. And they destroyed it, which you could get clean water from the air. He created this, but yet he takes it and goes and takes it to other cities or countries or whatever, no problem. People actually destroyed system that was here.
Make
So
you think.
eventually somebody came. I guess he came to take it or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Made
So
you
that means
think.
people don't want certain stuff. If that's the case, then that means that there's another agenda behind it.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Now, not only that, you can come and bring your jugs and get free, clean, filtered drinking water. Not go to the store, not any of that other stuff. Free, clean water from this machine.
But who came? Because that wasn't Pookie and Ray Ray who came and destroyed that.
I don't know. I don't think it was.
Right. So that tell you when you stepping in on somebody's territory. The thing was never to fix the water while the current residents is here. They bringing a new population in, whether people want to accept that or not. And it seemed like we always like, and I'm gonna say this because Maurice Davis had a good show yesterday when he's talking about the St. John area.
Mm-hmm.
Like he said, people want to say it was great over there in the St. John. No, when he said, man, we was poor over there.
Poor, not po.
Yeah, he said we was poor. He was like, man, we couldn't go this part. We was like regulated to one area.
Listen, that stuff did not stop until 1967 when my father and Mr. McCree, which is McCree, and a bunch of these other gentlemen had a sit down at City Hall. You couldn't pass certain areas. I guess years ago, were trying to buy a house over here on Court Street, and they told my father no. You're a general foreman in the foundry. Told him no.
See,
you can't buy over here in the college area. Your money's not good over here. That happened in 67.
Right. See? But people forget that.
Because they what they constantly want us to do is brainwash us with our remembrance.
Yeah, see, a lot of people, and I love when we get people who tell the truth. See, I'm not gonna just sit up here and tell you the fun part for you can be good.
Like, make you feel all nice and warm and fuzzy.
Just this. No, I'm not. I'm gonna give you to you how it need to be. Give me my liquor straight. Right. Don't give me no chaser in it. Give it to me straight, and I can understand it better.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Don't dilute
minds. And I think somebody just said, what's her name? Asaya.
Mama Quill. Asaya.
I like the name. Yeah, collateral damage. Absolutely. Why? Because people made a choice to stay, and so therefore you got to suffer the consequences of your choice.
Yeah, because you didn't move when they wanted you. They in there, and a lot of people wouldn't understand it when Jordan Sheraton brought that book, We the Poison, and when he's saying this is down there, Watergate. This could be in the 21st century. This scandal, how they did the Flint waters, can be compared to Watergate, if worse than Watergate.
Yeah.
This is unbelievable.
Right. Yeah, Floyd McCree, the senior. Yes. The building downtown is named after him. Yeah. Floyd. So I'm not sure who is this.
Oh, it is what we're doing. Yeah. But that's the thing where people gotta really look at it like being honest. It's like,
well, see, we don't. So part of being honest means that we have to do the necessary research and reading in order to understand what we're supposed to be honest about. Okay, the Industrial Revolution that happened in the 1600s, 1700s in England and America was about some other stuff. It's about making money.
Right.
It's all it's about making money.
Right. And it's like,
so using people, getting rid of people is about making money.
Right. That 475, the reason they brought that through, that's why you can live out in Flint when people with the vote, the Housing Act when they voted. That's how you got Graham Blank. It wasn't a purpose because Graham Blank or Flushing or Davidson, they didn't want you around them.
Yeah. Well, shit, we used to live right over there on 6th and Liberty.
Right. Like
so they cut through there to destroy the neighborhood. Yeah. We were just talking about black neighborhoods that that grew up and popped up and people
Right.
built up around white neighborhoods because we couldn't live here. We had a house over there on 6th and Liberty.
Right. See, it's like prior to 1960, blacks could not buy a home north of
That's
Piper
right.
Road. Right.
That's right.
And people don't want to accept that. It's like when you see, but you know what? You hear the same thing in Compton when they said when they had white flight, when the whites left from California, from Compton and moved to the other part, and the blacks got to move in. You know what I'm saying? If you see it, and that's really what it is, it's like you see it everywhere. When we was able to move into the better housing, they wanted to go.
Well, what we wanted to do was move into a better life because we come from the South, which was plantation life.
Right.
We're in the North, which is plantation life.
Right.
Because, like I said, there's a book, and I put it on a list this time called Complicity, or How Were They Complicit? And these were by white folks who wrote about the complicity of northern states in slavery. Go get the book. We were desiring to build a better life for our families. Most of us moved from from the South to the North in hopes and prayers of being able to either work in factories or whatever we could do in order to be able to make a better life for ourselves instead of this long, drawn out, lying plantation owner, which you basically keeping slavery happening.
Right. This was business. Slavery was business.
It's business, right.
And people don't want to accept that. It's like
that's because business. Nobody wants to study.
Right.
Nobody wants to read. We just don't want to feel anything from
it.
But they don't treat you any different.
And the government constantly want to what's wrong with technology is now you getting to see it.
Yep.
Like I said, all you could do was hear it.
Right.
And that is what we're doing. You're right. Leaving the farm for
the
factory.
Absolutely. That's absolutely correct.
Leaving the farm for the factory. Because you got to think, who are you working for? The same person.
Yeah. That's the reason why they call it a plant. They didn't call it a plant for nothing. They called it a plant because that was a short term for plantation. Right. Listen, Ford, when he built Ford Motor Company in Dearborn, he made sure that the homes that were around the plant were in walking distance, so you had no reason to miss work. Same thing here at Buick and Buick City. All of those homes. That's because people don't, they have to be woke up.
Right. They don't want to listen. They don't understand that even with the schools, what he said was, I'll take your parents with no education. I'll take your parents, but I'll educate the kids, and they'll be able to work this new stuff that I'm gonna have them doing as we grow.
Right.
And then as you see what they do, they won't, because people forget they got overseas accounts. They didn't just take General Motors over there to Mexico for no reason. That was business. Right. Because we can do the same thing with them over there.
Well, you don't forget now, this the same thing that they did with that European currency and tried to make one currency over in Europe.
Right.
That was what NAFTA was about too.
Right. Right.
And I know we didn't. We're still talking about reading because y'all still got to read.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Wait a minute. Let me throw it. I didn't throw this one up there. This book was written in the 1700s. It's called The Protocols of the Learned Elders of Zion. Listen to the title. The Protocols of the Learned Elders of Zion. Get it? Read it. Get back to me. I should give y'all my number, but y'all ain't serious. This is another book by his name, a CFO name. This man decided that he was going to go to where the most sable-colored, sable-haired people are and investigate the ruins. Because in the ancient Kemet, this is what gave life to the world. Good. And if you all want one book to start with, I'm gonna announce it again, and it's on the list. Destruction of Black Civilization by Dr. Chancellor Williams.
That's a good book. I've seen a lot of black scholars when I've been They always talk about.
Yeah, this is the kind of the foundation for a lot of stuff. But I mean, what these books do is they teach you how to be critical.
Mm-hmm.
They teach you how to think, not responding with emotion, not responding out of oh. I'm not trying to be funny. People are going to do what they want to do, how they want to do it.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm just going to go back to this point. There was an announcement of a candidate, and in 24 hours, she raised $80 million. I'm not saying she would be good or bad.
Mm-hmm.
Right wing, left wing, same bird. Okay. And I'm going to whisper this other book. It's a book called None Dare Call It Conspiracy. And once you read that book, I read that book probably 30 years ago. I just happened to spirit say, pick this book up, read me again. And the stuff that I saw in it this time as compared to then, amazing. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Because we don't what we're doing and what we've been taught and what we teach our children to do is just respond emotionally without thinking about anything.
Yes,
we're just going, no, stop and think. Stop and think. If we stopped to think about 99% of the things that we don't have an emotional response to it. We're not reactive. We think about it calmly, right? There's some exercise that said, think about what you're gonna say.
I can't repeat the name of that book again.
Which one?
I'm not for sure. Whatever name.
Oh, the protocols of the elders of the learned elders of Zion.
No, when you said that you didn't pull up. Remember, you just said you ain't.
Oh, that was this one.
Okay.
Yeah, it's called the Protocols of the Learned Elders of Zion. Okay. I didn't put it on the list. And the other book, None Dare Call It Conspiracy. That's the other one.
But see, that's the thing that we need to have, because that's why I think we need our own think tanks, our own school, because we get theirs, but we also need to learn our history. Because when we learn in American history,
you're being inculcated with this stuff. It's indoctrination.
Yeah.
That's all it is. Yeah. So when we talk about charter schools, it's indoctrination. There's no every morning I pledge allegiance to the flag every single morning.
Right.
That's indoctrination.
Right.
You're not talking about the bandera. You're not talking about lift every voice and sing. You're not talking about none of that. Even though that's whatever. But still, we're talking about it's a melting pot. No, it's not. I'll take what I need or what I want. I'll take from it what I want, and the rest of it I don't care anything about.
But why I gotta deny my history? See, they want us.
I said so.
Yeah, they want us to think.
I said you got to deny it.
Right.
You did. You forget it. Facts. I said you got to forget it.
Facts, because that's what they want to sit up there and say, like, life started with. And family believe this. Don't think the ones who came over on the boat that they brought over here were not smart.
They were all scientists.
Right.
They were all people who knew how to grow stuff.
Right.
They were all welders. There weren't people that didn't know anything. They brought over scientists. They brought over medicine people. Right. They brought over all of this group of people. The interesting thing spiritually is, why do you think people are not are starting to do different things for themselves food wise?
Right.
That's the same spirit. It's never left.
Right. Because you got to think, they gave us, the slaves gave scraps. That's why when you like some of the foods that we was eating, like that, it was what they did to slaves. They gave the scraps. We made feast out of scraps.
Right.
And that just show you how. And that's what I think. Well, their biggest thing is why every time you see something, but that don't mean my thing. Just because they've been destroying them, don't stop. We gotta keep building. You keep building your own, because we already seeing, and I know a lot of people are gonna be mad. We done did it this way with them. We done tried it. Why not try? Why not try unity with us now?
Because what we did was we were guided Okay. So you had two opposing views in the 60s
Mm-hmm.
before Black Power movement. You had two opposing views. One is separatist,
Mm-hmm.
one is integration.
Mm-hmm.
They ain't stupid.
Right.
Which one's gonna make me the most money?
Right.
If they separate, then I can't sit around there and make no money off a group. You know, you got 22, 23 million people over here, and we can't make no money off of that group because they're doing their own thing. So we get rid of that idea, and then the next thing you know, well, you only got one idea left. And then when you recognize that that other idea was right, you go too.
Right.
Because that was the intention was to get rid of them anyway.
Right.
As long as you guided your people to
Right.
us.
Right. Because like they said, the Black Wall Street in Tulsa was rivaling that of the one in New York.
Listen, New York, the only reason why the Wall Street happens and becomes a financial center of the world is because it was taking the cotton from the South and the molasses from the South and from the Caribbean, turning it into rum and clothes, selling it back and selling to the other parts of the world. That's the only reason why.
Right.
That's the only reason why.
Right.
Not so much so as there was a port where they had a wall up. And no, that's a myth. The truth is there was a port there. They did import African people there. But what made them the financial center, go read the book Complicity, is they imported molasses to make rum.
Mm-hmm.
They imported the cloth and the cotton. I'm sorry, they imported the cotton to make cloth. They would turn around and then sell the rum back to the South and sell the clothes that they made from the textile plants that they had in New York back to the South and to other parts of the world. That's how they did it. It was about money.
Right. That's all. When you look, that's even with the baseball. Dude, people don't understand.
Josh Gibson, the greatest baseball player ever, and now you just want to mention him after all of these years.
Right. They don't want to understand. That's even with Central Page. He didn't get in till they was in their 40s.
So he pitched his first game at 59.
See what I'm saying? And like I said, my father's always telling me these stories. He was like, but when you look at it, where they think they got the halftime show from? That was from the Negro League.
Yep.
Major League Baseball wasn't making money like the Negro League was making money, traveling, going to the. They the ones was making money, but they was able to buy him out.
Right.
And that's what it was all about. It was about the dollar.
There's a book that I got about the Negro Leagues that talked about the person who was the head of the Negro Leagues, that the white owners pressured him to selling it.
Yeah, they put
selling
pressure
the players,
on them. Yeah,
and selling the players' contracts to them because the players, they just want to play.
Right. But see what it was when you get caught up. Us not having unity is why we not being sustained. And listen, they had time to work on us.
Oh yeah, they had from 1808 to 1865 to create what they've done now, and from there, and there's still revolution in us because we know things are wrong.
Yeah.
But this is all a social experiment.
Yeah, and it's like we don't wake up on it. What was the pyramid? The $65,000 question.
Yeah.
Where people don't really know how long it take to make a Negro. Right. That was really the 65,000. Right. But people didn't understand. They was putting this shit out, and we not even paying attention on what's going on.
Because we lack the desire to know anymore.
Right.
Right now, I'm just want to go have fun. Right. I just want to kick it. Blah, 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 all this other stuff. I'm going to live my best life, and I don't care nothing about nothing else.
Right.
Really?
Right.
And first of all, before you decide that, you should have never had children. Because once you have children, your life basically belongs to your children, no matter what.
Yeah, no, you still got to be a parent until
you got to be a parent until you do. God say, okay, you done done it, they good. It's time to come here. I need you for something else.
Right.
You the parent forever. They always gonna call you mom or dad. Always. Right. They better not ever call me by my first name.
Right.
We ain't playing that. Right. But they always gonna call you mom or dad, or almost need, or I'm gonna need this, or whatever.
Right.
So how do you stop being a parent? Because I want to go kick it because I did their stuff I didn't do. Too bad.
This how you know this how you know when the selfishness of an individual because you have to look at it like this. What if Martin Luther King thought like that? He had a family, but he had a greater call in Malcolm X. Even you look at Elijah Muhammad, Minister Farrakhan, all even Marcus Josiah Garvey, when you looking at even the talented Tim W.E.B. Du Bois, what they was fighting for. Sometimes they was away from their families, but when you fighting for a cause, don't you know they could have been like, look, I want to have a childhood. I wanted to have, even look at Michael Jackson, who was stripped of a childhood because he was a performer. This is what he had to do. Some things in life you're going to have to let a freedom fight. Look at Jesus. Don't you think he probably wanted to have a childhood?
Man.
He probably wanted to go have kids and enjoy being like, you think he wanted to be such a sacrifice?
Right.
When you look at all the different scholars who are, what about Dr. Ben?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Died penniless
Yeah.
in a nursing home.
Yeah.
And Wesley Snipes and a few other people were great enough in order to make sure he had a proper home going. Dr. Clark, same thing.
Right. And it's like we just got.
You only had one black owner, and that was the problem.
Yeah. And that's what why you think now they don't want to let no blacks get in? Because they fear if we get in, we going to build something. See, their greatest thing is they think we're going to do to them how they did
and
to
see,
us.
the thing is that we've never done that, because if that's the case, we could have been done that.
Right, but that's the mind that they have because they know they done wrong.
Of
see,
course.
Their biggest fear is, and that's why when you look at every nationality to come in, what do they come to? To the consumers.
Yeah, because they done nothing but turn us into consumers.
Yeah.
We're the greatest. When people talk about how much money we make as a black nation, it's $2-3 billion, whatever it is. But first of all, you don't produce anything. All right. Let me throw another book at you. Needs another author, Dr. Claude Anderson. Powernomics, Black Labor, White Wealth. Right. Go get those two books. I didn't put them on the list. Get those two.
I did. Remember Pat Buchanan, don't you?
Yeah.
Remember that senator? When he was a senator, he had wrote a book, Death of the West. Because I was responding to Shadi Shaw. Yeah, the fear of this government is the browning of America. Yeah. They know.
But that's the fear of Europeans, period, not just the government. Period. Because they're not they're a minority in the world. And we don't understand that.
But in the West,
here they're the majority here. But if you understand and see, this goes back to mental health.
Right. Yes,
if you're clear that you are part of a larger population that looks like you in the world, why are we having self-esteem issues? You should have group esteem issues. If you have group esteem issues, we don't have no self-esteem issues because you're part of a larger group. Right. If you're part of a larger group, it's an easy win. Oh, what am I worried about? It's an easy win. But if I have self, that's singular and selfish, that's part of our problem. Oh, I got self-esteem issues. I don't like how I look. But wait a minute. I swear, I told you this before. I think we mentioned, I run across a man in Senegal years ago, and I looked exactly the same. Every once in a while, I'll hear from him. He speaks well. I don't know how to speak it that well, but I just translate it and say, hey, how you doing? How's the family? We still talk 10 years, 10, 12, 15 years later. Because I run across somebody look exactly like me.
But who got her beefing, though? How can you get, and this would throw me off with, when we be having like the Africans coming over, because what our family don't really know, they're not gonna let the ones who have the same, who on the level that we on, they gonna bring the ones they letting come here who gonna look at, oh, don't watch them, like you can't trust them.
Yeah, they do that on purpose.
Yeah, they not gonna let people like a Patrice Lumumba who want to come see us unite, because at the end of the day, even with the Haiti family, it was just a boat stop to really separate it.
Absolutely. And somebody else says the same thing. One of our other esteemed scholars. Oh, actually, Paul Mooney said it, one of my favorite comics. He said the only difference between a Puerto Rican, a Dominican, and a black and an African here is the boat stop. That's all. We're all the same. So we sit around here. Well, we go back to what happened in Rwanda and Burundi, and back in 84, where you have 800,000 people get killed in 100 days. Yeah, that's it.
And all of them was together for thousands of years.
You're the same group of people fighting over what? Because one group said, because you taller, you taller than the other group, y'all better than them. Brainwashing. So if we're reading, we can't talk about mental health. I'm having a crisis. I'm in a breakdown. No, you're choosing to because
Yeah.
you're not choosing to be strong enough to say, let me go grab something else to read. And I'm not saying not read your Bible, Quran, whatever it is that you read, but add other stuff to it too. Pick a book up because this is for your family. It's for your tomorrow. It's for your tomorrow.
Telling this is how you pass knowledge down because that's how they did it before.
That's how we always
we
do.
Don't get caught up in, and we don't get caught up in and like we don't trust in each other. But we do have to really do some. That's why I think it is so good if we could just get a thought center here, get one of these schools open up, public schools, that one of these closed down schools that we got, that the school board can sell to somebody who really want to come and have that as a center that we can help.
It don't even have to be a school. I mean, I know the church ain't gonna let none of us have a spot because they figure we're not gonna speak their doctrine. Yeah. It's not about speaking your doctrine. That's what you do on Sunday, on Wednesday nights, on whatever nights that y'all in them revivals and all that other stuff. If you are concerned about somebody changing their spiritual view, then maybe your spiritual view is weak. Because we're talking about enhancing people's lives for their tomorrow,
right?
And their children's tomorrow. So if your spiritual view is that weak where you're concerned about what somebody says, then you got a weak spiritual view.
Facts.
And it's weak. And it's weak. Because if you're not talking about that your spiritual leader, not the person,
right,
but your spiritual leader is a revolutionary that had curled hair of wool and skin of burned bronze, then you got a problem your own self.
But that lets you know they ain't really paying attention.
Well,
because when you come down 75 coming in Flint,
you see how dark that picture's gotten over the years.
He ain't look like the picture that they say in the Bible they gave.
Let me explain something to you. That picture's gotten darker and darker and darker over the years. His hair is no longer blonde. It used to be blonde. As much as I used to drive 75, his hair used to be blonde. It used to be blonde, blue eyes. That picture has changed. Ever so. But if you drive it enough, you know, hey, wait a minute. This one talking about you on the right road. You on the right road.
Right. That's why I just be laughing when I see if the color wasn't an issue, why did you change it?
Yeah. Yeah. Because it's been an issue. It's an issue.
Yeah. If it ain't, why you change it?
Yeah. Well, I mean, because what you got to tell people, the whole point of the exercise with Michelangelo painting that picture on the Sistine Chapel, according to theory and legend or whatever, is the fact that you got to say that I've changed, that I'm in such a powerful position that I changed what your God looked like.
For facts. But if I can teach you, this is just the thing to, we the only race that let the same people who abuse us give us our education, give us our religion.
Yeah.
They done took so much from us.
Yeah. Everything, not so much, everything.
Because we don't even have our history. That's even what our last names, what our names, that's the plantation really on it.
We're downtown yesterday I had a wonderful time. Did a little race yesterday, paying for it today, a little beat up, but it's okay.
Understandable.
Yeah. But they play a song and I see people out there dancing to the song. And I'm like, okay, so you love us enough. And I think the comedian Godfrey said this as well. You love us, you hate us, but you love us enough in order to take parts of our culture that you just love.
Right.
But you hate us as people.
Right.
Yeah.
Butts, bigger lips,
yeah,
tanning now,
all of that,
braids,
all of that.
It's like, but
and want their body to look like black women.
It's like all everything that you knocked. You go back to the Sarah Barton pictures. If you go back to that,
the Hottentot Venus that they called her.
Yeah, when you go look at these things,
that's the reason why they made petticoats.
Right.
Petticoats wasn't for that. It was to make the woman that wore the petticoat look like she had a body like her.
Right. But see, we don't understand history.
Well, it's because we're not studying nothing.
Yeah, they say
J.A. Rogers too. Go get his stuff. Right. Get all see, I'm not putting y'all go buy stuff and I'm gonna see pictures.
Right.
All right. Go buy stuff, and I want to see pictures.
And that's what it's so crazy. And that's why I think we need a platform like this where we can get this out here. You know what I'm saying? Like people want to feel the feel good stories. No,
ain't nobody. You can feel good when you recognize that you are part of a larger group and you don't have self-esteem issues. And if you do, it's because you're selfish.
Facts.
If you have self-esteem, oh, I have poor self-esteem. It's because you're not looking at the larger group in the world and you're not attached to them. You don't pray with them. You don't wear the clothes that they wear. You don't eat the. And I'm not saying everybody got to do it that way. That's just how I do it. And it's worked for me. Now, and I can go almost anywhere in the world. Anywhere in the world. Almost anywhere in the world. Right. And I'm straight.
Facts.
If I had the money, I'd go to, we going to synagogue. I ain't gotta stay with y'all. I'm going over and stay with my family. Can't speak all the way that they speak, but I know I'm gonna eat, I'm gonna be straight, I'm gonna be safe, I'm gonna go wherever I want to, and they gonna make sure I'm good. Because guess what? Our uncle's home. You ain't been home in a long time, so I'm gonna get cussed out for that. But this is my group, and I'm attached to them because it's important for me to do the scholarship and the work necessary to understand that I don't have a self-esteem issue. Here we do. Why? Because they isolate us. Yeah. We must isolate it on purpose, right? And I want to thank Sister Audrey Muhammad for introducing us.
Right, facts, good sister. Yeah,
right. Because I've seen you, but this is now we have a whole different. My daughter, did you talk to Uncle Mickey? Facts. Huh? Yeah, yeah. That's what she's supposed to.
Facts. Yeah.
She was the one that suggested the show today.
Oh no, that's a good thing.
Right.
Facts.
Yeah. Because that's family.
Right.
That's family. Right. That's family. Right. And if we're not going, the issue that we have is that even in our own family, you know that there's psychosis in there. Yeah. You know it's crazy. There are some people that suffer from selfish self-esteem stuff.
Facts.
That's selfish stuff. Whether it's they do drugs, drink, whatever, it's some other stuff.
Yeah.
But if you study and learn who you are and where you come from, I know we went over time, who you are and where you come from, those can be solved without going to treatment centers or this or that or other. Because if the family is strong enough, then the intervention takes place within the family. And then you're reading things that make that person eventually wake up and say, I don't need this no more.
Right.
What do I need that for?
Right.
It's okay for me to take a sip. I'm not going to fall off the wagon because I built the wagon.
Right. And that's what people don't be understanding. Like, how you going to go, this would trip me out. And I'm in and let you end it on this one. This would trip me out with Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Peace and blessings to the brother. He didn't have when he was getting people off of drugs, he wouldn't, what Betty Ford clinic did you go to go to his?
You know what you did? They drank nutmeg, and you can't drink too much of it now because too much nutmeg will poison you.
Right.
But you made a tea and with nutmeg.
With side, but it changed your diet.
It changed your diet.
It's already showing you just what you can change, but yet you go to these other places, you know what they're going to give you? Drugs to get off of drugs.
Yeah. Methadone.
What type of shit is that?
But that's worse than heroin. That's worse than heroin. Thank you, Mr. Johnson.
I'm just, it's just, man, it's just when you see it, but yeah, you can go to this, but yeah, we won't accept our own.
No, absolutely.
To them.
Absolutely.
The same people, like, because when I hear people, they mad about the farm, when they be talking about, oh, they got the weed dispensary, they got them here and there. What you think Rite Aid is? What you think Walgreens is? What you think CVS is?
Yeah.
What you think that medical, that's big business.
That's huge business, billions of dollars industry. So why would they have you do something that makes you free and not have those issues than it is to go and be on their stuff?
See, That's why.
Because if we understood once again that, oh well, you know what, I got a problem with gout or whatever, I can go, hey ma, don't you have something for that? Yeah, let me go back here. Come here, and I got something for you.
Natural
from the
instead
ground.
of putting more chemicals.
Right.
That you take this pill for this, but this gonna mess this up. So you need this pill for this. You go to some people cabinet, you open up, they're taking 20-some pills to keep them alive.
And then when you read the label, they tell you you may have risk of dying, but if you take this to cure that, huh?
And just that is saying, change your diet.
Change your diet.
Change your diet. But they're not in the business of living. That's what we got to realize.
It's not a healthcare system.
Right.
It's a health careless system.
Right. It's business to get you out of here.
And your brother saying is return to the source. That's saying Kofa. You're absolutely right.
So like they hit your liver and they know that's what you need.
Yeah, because if those become dysfunctional, then that shuts the whole body down.
Yeah.
Put the book list up one more time for me. Hey man, y'all better take a picture of this book list. I ain't playing with y'all. And I want to see the next time we here, I want to see where you all send me pictures that you all have some of these books on this book list. So make it happen.
Right. Why would they go back to Europe? They gotta go back to the motherland.
That's where everything comes from. It's called motherland from in the first place.
Right. That's why. That's how I know when a lot of people reading the book. If they really read the Bible, it'll tell you it's a mother book. Even at the end, it's a mother book. That's just a portion that you get.
Listen, there was a book that came out back in the 50s called The Lost Books of the Bible and Forgotten Books of Eden. It's another 66 books. Right. And then who knows how many they took out to the Council of Nicaea in 325 AD.
Right.
How many more books that they took out?
Because what you gotta realize, how many people was it? The black man at the Council of Nicaea? Was it the Indian man?
No, he was
the Chinese man.
No, they were all from Africa, in the Council of Nicaea, because no other group had no religion. Christianity after 320. I know. I'm sorry, this is off topic, but still, after 325 AD, Christianity then gets moved to the Vatican, and it gets formed of what we have now.
Right. Yeah, you're right on that.
That's right.
That's just like with prohibition with the liquor.
Yeah. And once they figured out how to tax it and make money off of it, it's good.
Believe me, once they figure out crack, because they're making good money off of it illegal.
Right.
But once they can, believe me, anything that the government can make, this is when you really, and I'm gonna, and mind you got it from here. When we really be going into, when you saying that the downing of a nation, look at the school system.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, there's a couple things that we have to look at. It's not only because I was talking with somebody about this yesterday, whereas at one time we were the top of the food chain of the school system. Mm-hmm. Now we're the top of the food chain of the prison industrial complex, right, and the bottom of the food chain with the school system. Right. At one time in the 50s and the 60s, when the Sputnik happened in 57, the government was dumping billions of dollars into the space program. MIT, Stanford, a few other colleges came up in order for them to be used for technology in order to beat the Russians to space, because there was the Cold War and all this other stuff that happened from there. Now, you only use those for elite students that you want to do certain things, and everybody else can fall by the wayside. But then at what point then does it become our job, right? Say, hey, look, we're going to come in and do an after school program. We're going to come in and do this. Or we're going to, those students that are borderline marginal, we're going to take them over here away from the school and go over here to this program and say, look, we want to help your child do this because we know that there's some struggles in school. We don't want to do that.
cold blooded. Brother, that was it for us today, brother.
Well, I would, we could probably keep going, but I'm thinking that might be enough for people. I'm glad people stuck around. We appreciate everybody coming in. Make sure I don't want to hear that y'all just got a few books. Get them all and start to build your library. Start to build your library. Start to build your library. Yep, the school of prison pipeline. There's a few people to talk about that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we done?
Yeah, we done.
All right. Well, family, thank you all for showing up again today. We appreciate you taking your time out on this busy, beautiful Sunday, wherever you are, and joining myself and Uncle Mick in as my daughter calls him, and sharing your time with us and sharing your comments. We appreciate that. Please keep reading. Wear your armor. Know that you're part of a larger group. Instead of being selfish, study, teach, learn. Appreciate you all, family. Peace.
Peace.